So we're up here in Phoenix. Phoenix is about, I don't know, half an hour that way. And we're coming up to Ben Avery, which is one of the largest shooting areas in the country, really. And we've got just the top of some tents and things that you can see. And we've got the Arizona Game and Fish Department's kind of once a year So Ben Avery pretty much stretches from way over here all the way around these hills. And there's a large shotgun shooting area for trap and skeet, I think. There's a big archery area, and then of course just regular ranges. Lake Pleasant is also down this road. We're on the Carefree Highway. If you look at a map, we're on the north side of Phoenix. Here's the front gate. I don't think we've done a video from Ben Avery before, but we've definitely been here plenty of times and we reviewed it for the websites. We're coming into the main entrance here, which is pretty big. Buses and stuff. Over to the event. Finally found a map, and looks to be a fairly elaborate setup, so we're gonna head over here and see what we got. And to show the kids, you know, some experience with the outdoors and the shooting sports. Pretty big event. We'll dig into it a little bit more. So the Outdoor Expo has been going on for a few years, and there's quite a bit more of it than what we're going to show in this video. There's the whole part of it that's the shooting sports, and we're going to devote a whole separate video to that, and we'll post that on our guns channel. So what we're looking at here is the tents and some of the other areas that are south of the actual firing lines. And if we were to turn the cameras around and look north towards those hills, we'd see the firing lines, and that's what's featured in another video. So we've been looking at this tent from the Arizona Reptile Society or Herpetological Society, and they had a bunch of large reptiles for the kids to touch and play with. And the tortoises, I'm sure, are native. I don't think the alligator and that other lizard were native, but they did have some other stuff here in the tanks. This was one of the large tents. There was more than one of these large tents with booths inside, and I think this one was set up with more of like nature and conservation and animal type of booths. We didn't go through every single one, but we noticed a lot of critters in this one. Just north of this booth then was a fish tank, a giant fish tank that the kids could fish from. We'll take a look at that in a second. And then you can see some of the birds in there from the Arizona Falconry Association. So a lot of groups are represented. Again, conservation, nature, animals. You know, it was the stuff that the Game and Fish Department is responsible for. And they did a real good job of making this entertaining and fun, and also educational. So this is inside the tent with this giant fish tank that the kids can fish from. We'll take another look here from the side. A little clearer. Cameras have a hard time with the bright sunlight outside and the dark insides of the tent. But the kids are having a blast with this, you know, seeing right through the side and seeing the fish. A lot of archery events, as well as the shooting, so we just included that in this video right away. Of course, it was a family of type of event, so there's lots of concession stands. It's a free event. It's open to the public, and so you don't really need to bring any money, but if you do, there are concessions, you know, sort of treats and whatnot. Again, under one of the tents with some of the ranges in between, looking kind of south there at the mounted shooters, which is a shooting sport where they shoot from horseback, sort of cowboys style. Now we're in one of the other tents with, I think this tent was mostly different associations, groups and
non-profits and that kind of thing. To the north there on the range, there was a section from the different manufacturers. So it was a representation of both the government stuff, the non-profits, and corporations and people selling stuff. So it was a pretty neat event. Great weather. Looking at the map here, we parked over to the right there. We came through, the reptiles were in this area, the archery in that, and then we came through to the big tents and the ranges here we look at in the other video. But then south of the ranges, we're going to look at some boats and things. Some of the cowboy action shooters brought out their cowboy gear. They do a lot of reenacting and going to the rendezvous. So this is a pretty neat chance to see some of the old time gear and equipment. Like I say, it was definitely a real achievement for the Game and Fish Department. They do a real good job putting on this event. It's at Ben Avery, which is again about 30 miles north of Phoenix. It's 1,650 acres, and you see there it's a large venue. And even though this event is very large, it's only using up maybe half of the available facility there. So there is quite a bit of boating here in Arizona. So there was a big section on boats, four-wheeling and off-roading is a big thing in Arizona as well. And there was this pretty neat rock crawling type of demo. And I didn't walk over there. I suspect you might have been able to get a ride in one of those Jeeps, but I'm not sure because it seemed like they were going around the track and had a couple of people in the Jeeps. And they were doing the boulder crawling here, which is neat, and then they'd come up over this hill and then come down, and I don't know how they could traverse this. I would have never thought, the thing with round wheels would be able to do it. And if you look in the background behind this orange Jeep, once I get the camera kind of steady on a pole here, you can see from the background this horse stops and wonders how this thing with round wheels can navigate these rocks too. I'm thinking it's that horse is probably thinking it's going to be out of business if it lets its rider see that it's got an option like this. Anyway, so in the background there were some more horseback demos, and I'm not sure if that was the mounted shooters or if that was just horseback riding. I actually didn't walk over to that section, but again, a lot of stuff going on here for just about any hobbyist or any interest in the outdoors. It's a great place to see new things and figure out what else is out there. Now, we were way at the west end of the event, and we parked at the east end, so we got on this tram, and I sort of sped it up here, but we're running past all the four-wheelers and off-road stuff, and then some of the restaurants and concessions. So again, great event from the Game and Fish Department, 2010 Outdoor Expo.